Well, AEW had a huge boost with the surprise appearance of a New Japan Pro Wrestling star, Kenta. However, NXT had some very good matches with the continuation of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic for both the men's and women's. So, which show was better of this Wednesday Night War? So, all of that will be reviewed on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So as you know what happened, AEW once again boosted up the ratings, all because of a New Japan star. They showed up out of nowhere. So let's compare how they did from last week and this week. This week they gained 844,000 views. No, 844,000 views. Compared from last week was 734,000 views. And they, for their 18 to 49 demographic, they have a 0.32, which was better from a 0.29. Now NXT, however, their ratings went down. Their views went down from to a 610,000 views compared from last week, which was 720, and their um the 18 to 49 demographic went down to a 0.15. So this is why we talk about these type of things, because many people, especially the hardcore die-hard WWE fans, would say they had the better matches. It's true, but it's always what AEW can deliver. It's always been known for that for many times over. Now, I know some of you say, but what is it that caused the problem? I know some of you guys fans, but Edge's appearance would have boosted. Yes, but there's a huge reasons for that, and I'll explain more of that in my final thoughts. So, right now, let's review the latest AEW Dynamite Beach Break. Okay, so we're doing AEW Dynamite Beach Break. So, as you all know, originally this was supposed to take place in Miami, but they decided to stick in Jacksonville for this time. So, the opener was the AEW Tag Team Eliminator, where we had um, three teams of the Inner Circle, two teams of Dark Order, Top Flight, The Acclaim, and Jurassic Express. And who else was in it? Or a Private Party. And of course, the champions themselves, the Young Bucks. Now, as you know, if the Young Bucks won the match, they get to pick their opponents. But there were other teams in there. You saw that the Inner Circle had three teams. There was Santana Ortiz, Sammy Hager, and of course MJF and Jericho. So that kind of brought up the numbers game. But however, they got rid of the two biggest threats within the Eliminator. I'm talking about Jake Hager and Luchasaurus. And you thought, oh, and you were surprised that Max Caster eliminated Jericho. I'm like, uh-oh, Jericho's not gonna like that. But however, you probably would assume, okay, the Bucks have a chance. But it didn't go exactly in that way. The Good Brothers showed up out of nowhere and just almost cost Nick. It kind of cost Nick Jackson to remain the winner, because that's what happened last time with the Bucks. They won, but it didn't go exactly like that. But it did end it with three members of the Inner Circle: Guevara, MJF, and Jericho, taking on Max Caster, uh, Jungle Boy, and of course Darius from Top Flight. However, this match ended where somehow Sammy was eliminated, and this kind of brought the how do I say this, a bit of a issue with Sammy, like he feels like he's falling out of favor, and it ended with MJF winning the match for his team. So MJF and Jericho will get a title shot for the AEW World Tag Team titles against the Bucks at Revolution. Now, we all know about what's going to happen in Revolution. We had Sting and Darby Allin coming out, but they were interrupted by Taz. But it did reveal that in before the interruption, Darby Allin is set to face Joey Janela and put the TNT title on the line. Now, Team Taz said they are going to stick close. Their primary goal is to strip Darby Allin of the title, but Sting will have his back. That's always been the case. That's always been what they're planning on. So we'll see what happens. And Sting said that Ricky doesn't think he's the same guy he was before. Well, be careful what you wish for. Now we get to the grudge match that we've been waiting for months. We're talking about Britt Baker along with Reba taking on Thunder Rosa. Now this feud goes back when Britt Baker believes that Thunder Rosa does not belong in AEW because she believes she's the role model. She's the one who shines there. And this feud has gone far enough between these two. But the match seems like it was going great. It could have gone in Thunder Rosa's way, but however, Reba got in the way and removed the middle safety of the turnbuckle, but it did allow for her to be for Britt to use it to help her put her unconscious and knocked her out and applied that submission move that she normally uses. And I had that feeling this is far from over between these two. So basically, Britt said that she is the best, but if I was a betting person, I say Thunder Rosa's not done yet. Now we get to the interesting match. We have Hangman Page teaming with Matt Hardy taking on Chaos Project. Now, the real question that's been going on, what is Matt's deal with Hangman? We know they known each other before. According to Excalibur, he knew him when he wrestled in Matt Hardy's promotion, Omega Wrestling. That's what they call Omega Wrestling. And basically, that's pretty much more of what they said. But however, it's still unclear what's going on. But the way the match ended, Matt Hardy tagged himself in while Hangman had everything under his control, and he applied the pinfall to allow the win. Now, Hangman didn't know what to do, but however, somehow Matt convinced him a win's a win. So, we'll stick more to this story and whole thing between Matt Hardy and Hangman Page. Now, as the Inner Circle celebrated the fact that MJF and Jericho will be at Revolution to take on the Bucks for the titles, it appears Sammy Guevara is not happy with the results. He doesn't trust MJF, so he walked out, and then you see Jericho right behind him. So the real question is, could this be the beginning of the Inner Circle's end? We don't know, but we'll see what happens. Now we get to what we heard, been expecting. I'm talking about the wedding. Yes, the wedding between Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. Now, before the whole thing started, we saw Father James Mitchell. I didn't expect him to be there. I mean, do you guys recall what happened the last time in a wedding? If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, is the one where Johnny E. Bravo was marrying Rosemary and got shot. It's never a good thing in a wedding at a wrestling show. No. The wedding went well, but however, Chuck Taylor, or as Miro calls him, Charles, telling he had a gift, a big package. He thought there was someone there. He knocked it out. But while he was giving his toast to the newly married couple, somehow Chuck actually handcuffed Miro's ankle to turnbuckle without him noticing it. And then all of a sudden, you see what was going on. You thought something was going to happen, and Orange Cassidy popped up underneath the cake. So it was a classic revenge out of Charles' part. So this feud is far from over between these two guys. Now we get to the instant part where Shaquille O'Neal is set out to say that he will beat up Cody while he teams with Jade. So basically, he's calling Red Velvet Cupcake. So basically, don't count out her yet. So they did stated this match will take place on March 3rd. So it's going to be Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill taking on Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. So I'm going to see how this one goes. Now we have the next match, the Lumberjack match between Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer. This match was a total mayhem. I didn't expect it. You had Jake Roberts helping out. He wiped out those who were helping Eddie Kingston. And then you got Eddie's family, the Butcher and the Blade interfering. He even Lance almost blackholed her, down blackholed the bunny. But the biggest surprise was the Bear Country helping him. I'm like, wow, they're really getting noticed, and it did allow for Lance Archer to win. I thought it was the most insane ending for that. So, is this really over between these two? Hopefully, it is. But however, things did not go well for in the tag team world. FTR were not completely happy. Now, we did have the AEW Tag Team Eliminator. FTR was excluded out due to what they did last week. And they're ticked off that Jungle Boy actually told Tony Khan what they did, and they got suspended over that. But all of a sudden, the most disturbing, they had Marco Stunt tied up. Now, this feud between them is kind of simple. FTR has always been the best tag team, and they believe guys like the Jurassic Express are beneath them, that they don't deserve to be at the top. So this is going to be a feud. Okay, who's going to be at the top? Will it be Jurassic Express or FTR? We'll see what happens then. Now we get to what made this event a high rating boost of the Wednesday Night War. We got Kenny Omega teaming with the Good Brothers, taking on Jon Moxley, Pac, and Rey Fenix. This match was hands down one of the best main events ever. But however, that wasn't the best part. It did allow Kenny to win his match when they made the pinfall against Rey Fenix. But all of a sudden, when he made the pinfall and win, they continued to beat him some more. But I don't know why he showed up. We had Lance Archer showed up, attacking the Good Brothers and Kenny. Doesn't make no sense. Now, when Jon Moxley thinks he had almost everything under control, a mysterious hooded figure attacked Moxley, and the biggest shocking surprise, Kenta showed up. Yes, Kenta. You ask yourselves, what does this mean? The forbidden door is now open. Now, there has been talk about this for a long time, ever since AEW first formed. Is New Japan and AEW working together? I don't know. But to me, I feel this is something that has been talked about. We've seen this before. If you recall, Jericho put his AEW world title on the line against Tanahashi back then. That is something we know, that there's been back and forth talked about this. I don't know, but this could benefit AEW because we have fans who are AEW fans who are also fans of New Japan. But I'll give my final thoughts what I think about this, because this is one of those things that has to be talked about for last. So I think right now we'll end it like this and just move on and review NXT. Okay, so let's talk about NXT. It opened up with the semifinals for the Women's Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. We have on one corner Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez taking on Kaden Carter and KZ Cantazaro. Now, I would have assumed, to me, I was kind of like rooting for the underdogs, which is Kaden Carter and KZ Cantazaro after they shocked the world with their first match. But however, this match was really good. I'm not gonna lie about it. I did enjoy how you look at the underdogs doing the best they can to win this match, but however, you got Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, two dominant forces that are willing to be first history. Now, there was a rumor speculating, thinking that Dakota Kai could be heading to the main roster. I don't know about that, but I would like to see if she does become the first ever NXT Women's Dusty Rose Tag Team Classic champion. So that is something it's still I'm looking forward to see. But however, it was Raquel Gonzalez that somehow was able to slam KZ down and continue on with their semifinal to be in the finals. But however, they don't know who will be facing. Is either gonna be Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell or Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. So we're gonna wait until that match is done, and whoever wins that match will face each other at NXT Takeover Vengeance Day on February 14th. I'm excited to see that one. Now, as you know, it's already been revealed that the NXT Women's Championship will be on the line. You got two challengers, Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm, and of course, Io Shirai, our champion. Now, Toni Storm believes that she has to earn the right to take that title away from Io Shirai. She's been known to strip of the top champions, so she believes Io's time is up and nothing's going to stand her way. But however, there is another person, that person that stands in her way, and that is Mercedes Martinez. And of course, Io Shirai, who she knows her problem is to not lose the title. Now, the next match, we have Leon Ruff taking on the Waves member Austin Theory along with Johnny Gargano. The match was pretty interesting the way it is. Like, Leon Ruff is trying to prove that he's not a fluke. But however, you know for a fact Gargano will be interfering. And that's what he did until he got knocked out. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell tried to pick him up, but they were attacked from behind by their opponents for the upcoming NXT Women's Dusty Classic match that's coming up soon. So, while that happened, Leon Ruff did the most smartest thing ever. While the ref was paying attention to what the women were doing, he knocked himself out and pretended it was Gargano, and Gargano was kicked out. So it was a real smart move. But however, it wasn't enough to stop Leon Ruff, stop Austin Theory from picking up his victory. But however, when he was done, he decided to humiliate him even more. But he was surprised, but once again, by Dexter Lumis grabbing him by the hair and taking a piece of that hair. So basically, this is going to be an interesting storyline between Austin Theory and Dexter Lumis. So you probably ask yourself, I thought he would be going after Gargano. Well, no. The reason is Theory got involved in Gargano's match. So basically, it's more like take on the idiot who got in his way. Now, you guys may have seen for a long time Xia Li and, of course, Boa on the side of this mysterious figure that we don't know who she is. According to what she's been called, her name is Tian Shan. We don't know where she is. The story is she is 1,000 years old, if you believe that. So there's still more to the whole story who this mysterious figure we've been seeing always watching Xia Li's matches. So we don't know who she is, but I do know that Boa mentioned her before he was abducted when William Regal went looking for him saying that she's coming. And I think that's this person, Tian Shen, who is showing up being the person that they're afraid of. Now, let's get to more of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This time it's the quarterfinals. We got Legado del Fantasmas, Mendoza, and Joaquin Wild taking on Lucha House Party. Now, as you know, these two teams, you got Legado that believes that they are the true leaders of Lucha Libre, and you look at Lucha House Party, another team that believes that Lucha Libre is for everyone. But the real question is who will advance further into the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It was a really good match, but however, it was Legado who reigned superior, and their next opponents to face in the semifinals is none other than the rookies, the newcomers, MSK. So basically, MSK showed up to congratulate them, but however, they have to get through them. And I don't know if Legado is ready for these guys. I don't think they ever faced guys like them before, but this is going to be an interesting matchup. Now, as you know, for a while, Pete Dunne has made his rare appearance, his appearance in NXT since he returned to the States. His true goal now is to face Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. And Finn Balor gave him his answer that he wants his title shot. He'll give it to him and take over Vengeance Day. But however, they received a surprise visit from Edge. Now, you probably say, why would Edge show up? I did mention this before in the past previous episode. The rule is the champion does have allowed the chance to face for any title. Was either the WWE title or the Universal title. It doesn't specify. This loophole goes back all the way when Stone Cold discovered this loophole when Chris Benoit won the Royal Rumble. At the time, there was two championships. There was the World Championship and the WWE Championship. But Edge did state it. He never obtained the NXT title. Now, that is something, it's true. He never hold that title. But he did state he will keep an eye on this match. He said he'll make his decision by then. So basically, my theory was right. He'll make his options. Now, however, there is another scenario that will be played out on this. I'll get to that in a bit. Now, as you know, Gargano is happy how things go. If he doesn't want to hear negative things, it's always been like that for him. But however, the interviewer kind of said that she kind of heard rumors that William Regal is set to put Johnny Gargano and put the North American Championship on the line against the one man he doesn't want to mention, Kushida. So he went to William Regal's to get her fired for lying, for making these rumors. Turns out it is going to happen. It was no lie. It was officially happening. Regal signed on to this. And they had a little melee in the back. And of course, Kushida got the last word by hurting his arm. Now, the next match, we had Jesse Kamea, who is now part of the Robert Stone brand, taking on Toni Storm. But the match started out good until all of a sudden it ended with a no contest with the sudden appearance of Mercedes Martinez. So as you know, these two women want the one thing they want, and that is the NXT Women's Championship, which is what they've been gunning for. While they're beating the crap out of each other, here comes Io Shirai, like enjoying herself, seeing how they're beating the crap out of each other. She's just waiting for the right moment until she took both of them out. So basically, Io Shirai knows these women don't want what the one thing that stands in their way is each other. But they know their ultimate goal is to get the NXT Women's Championship. So this is going to be a very good segment. Now let's get to the NXT Cruiserweight match between Santos Escobar and Cristelli. Now this match was already been set for a long time, but however, something happened a week ago. As you know, Santos Escobar saw one of those Tilly cards that says the end is near. Now, the story has been speculating that the Santos Escobar, has been running his mouth, saying certain things that he shouldn't when it comes to one man you don't want to piss off. And I'm talking about Karrion Kross. While during the match between Santos and Escobar, Santos and Kurt Stallion, Scarlett was right there. Now, it's still unclear what's going on. Now, Santos was not unfazed. He thinks he's untouchable. He thinks nothing phases him. However, he was reigning supreme as the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. But the important part, here comes the one man who wants to get in his face. And Mendoza and Wilde were wiped out outside the ring. He said certain things. He said that there's a problem with him. And he's telling him that the end is near. TikTok. And that kind of changed his mood. Santos is the very cockiest individual you see. But when it comes to Karrion Kross, he's all business. So, if I was Santos, I would have kept your mouth shut. But when it comes to Kross, that's going to be a different story. So, we'll see what happens then. But however, he did have a little chit chat with Edge. He said it wouldn't be him facing against Balor or Pete Dunne. It would be Karrion Kross. As you know, Karrion Kross never lost the title. He had to vacate the title when he got hurt after defeating Keith Lee. So we'll see what that will go. Now we get to the main event. We have, for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic quarterfinals, we got the Undisputed Era, Roderick Strong and Adam Cole, who are trying to fulfill the second wave of the prophecy, taking on the very unusual duo, Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. Now, you could say, how would these two work together? But it appears like this match was incredibly good. I like how Thatcher and Ciampa won. But however, the best part in the end is when Thatcher took a bullet for Ciampa to allow him to win the match. So they advance, but their true goal now is to get through another team. And this is one team that we all know what they're capable of. We're talking about grizzled young veterans. So basically, this is going to be an interesting thing to see. So whoever wins this match will go to the final. So we got grizzled young veterans and versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher in the semifinals. So I'll explain more on this on the final thoughts, and let's do that right about now. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on both shows? I have to say, the one thing that still buzzed in AEW was the fact Kenta appearing in AEW. Now, you can say it is a big deal for those fans, especially those who are fans of both AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, for all of you who are just AEW fans, are not familiarized with New Japan, you probably say, why is that important? Well, There's a reason to that. For me, I got into AEW because I watched New Japan Pro Wrestling. First time I ever heard of the Bucks was when they were known as Generation Me in TNA. It was not a big deal at the time, but ever since they were part of the faction known as the Bullet Club, that's when I got into it. I started watching many matches between, you know, what they were doing in New Japan, watching Being the Elite, and then learning all this about New Japan, and then later AEW. It kind of brought in to the beginning of what I enjoy. You see, as much as I want to see these two work together, it would be a beneficial thing for both companies. Now, some of you who know about this, about New Japan, you probably say, aren't they in a sort of relationship with Ring of Honor? True, but there's a reasons why things have not been totally sour with Ring of Honor. There's a reason to that. As you know, back in April of 2019, this was around when the Supercard, the G1 Supercard, during the Madison Square Garden event, there was a situation that took place with New Japan and Ring of Honor. Apparently, Ring of Honor failed to mention to Ring of Honor, New Japan, that they had Big Cass and Enzo Amore appearing to do a little stint where they were attacking the four-way tag team match. That kind of draw a little problem between both companies, and that kind of led. Now there are others that talk about this, saying even though I mentioned this to my friend Nico and several others, we can agree on this. Ring of Honor does have some good talent in their roster, but however, the way they present their match, their shows, they don't make it a way to advertise it more. You see, you don't have a channel here in California to watch it. You have to have certain areas to watch it, or unless you got the Honor Club thing. So that's one of the things. Like Ring of Honor doesn't have like the way to expose more of the product, but also help out New Japan. But if AEW is able to help New Japan explore, like saying, "Hey, take a look at these guys from New Japan. You guys will love them." I feel that's what AEW can do. They are not the kind of team that company that they'll say, like, nah, screw them. Unlike WWE, we've seen over the years, they do that. They always tell their fans, they suck. They don't got. We got the better talent, but that's not true. It's the talent they never signed from other companies like New Japan that were the real talent, in my opinion. But seeing these guys, it's what makes it more sensible. Now with NXT, what did I like about it? As I said, I've been a fan of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Seeing Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, I say they will be one of the few that could, one team that could win the entire thing. Do I feel strongly good about that? Yeah. But however, we got to see who's going to win in the other semifinal match between Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart against the Ways, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell. So we'll see where we go from there. Now, the other matches involve MSK versus Legado. That is something I would see. But who would I pick? For me, I feel I would like to see the underdogs, the newcomers, try to win this match. But however, I don't think they will be the team to go all the way. Reason I say that is because it'd be too obvious for fans who can pay attention to this. But if you think Legado should be in the front, that's your opinion. But who do I think could win it? It could be Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. You may never know. Now, you say all this, now I mentioned about Edge, him going for the NXT title. Now, some of you say it's a good thing, but others will disagree. Now, why is that? If you guys are true NXT fans, you would know this brand of NXT is nothing more than a developmental program. Basically, this is where they train new wrestlers how to be wrestlers, even though I don't agree with that. But that's always been like that. But Edge, I don't know if they thought Edge being an NXT could have boosted ratings. So, because we all know NXT are a good brand, but however, they're not actually getting the higher ratings that they're expecting. And they might have thought Edge will be that guy. But I did speculate that he would make a decision because of the loophole. I'm talking about he could face any champion. I'm talking about the WWE Championship, the Universal Championship, and the NXT. Those are the championships that are available, and it's always been used that way before. It goes back in the 2000s when Chris Benoit won the World Rumble, and it was Stone Cold Steve Austin who found this loophole. Now, back then, let me explain how this went down. Back then, Chris Benoit was in SmackDown, so basically he had a shot for the WWE Championship. But however, somehow Chris Benoit showed up during a promo between Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Basically, Triple H was the world champion, but Shawn Michaels wants a piece of him. Now, Shawn Michaels and Triple H were confused, like wondering, why is he here? He's from SmackDown. And that's when it was revealed. The loophole. The winner of the Royal Rumble could face the champion. But they never specified which championship at the time. So basically, Benoit chose the world championship that Triple H had in his waist. So he chose that title. So it's the same loophole again. It does not specify. Now, how does that work? Any superstar from whatever brand, they have a good choice to face for whatever championship that they want. And it's always been like that for years. So Edge will make his decision after the match between Balor and Dunn. And we'll see how that goes. Now, despite the fact some of you fans say, but Edge would have may have had the ratings up, he was there. No, that doesn't work like that. The NXT was developed to bring in new stars, not bring in the old veterans into this brand. That's always been the problem. It already happened with Charlotte Flair. It didn't do so well, and I doubt it's gonna do any well for them too. So that's my opinion. I don't know if others feel the same way. So I think that's it for now for you guys. So there'll be more episodes to come. I'll see you guys the next time. Say the DWZ time, same DWZ channel. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.